Welcome back to our International Students and Studies episode 6. I'm Jane, and today I'm with
Percy Mombeyarara.
Awesome. Can you correct me with your last name?
Mombeyarara.
Mombeyarara.
Mm-hmm.
Mombeyarara.
Yeah, perfect.
Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, are you an international student at ASU?
Yes, I am.
Where are you from?
I'm from Zimbabwe, which
Zimbabwe?
is southern part of Africa.
Wow.
African continent. Yeah.
When was the first time you got here?
3 years ago, so 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
So you came here earlier than I did. I came here at 2023.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what made you decide to come in Texas, San Angelo especially?
I have lots of family who came to ASU and graduated, so
Right.
cousins, nephews, aunts, uncles. And so they recommended I should apply, and I got a scholarship, which kind of put the nail in the coffin for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of families here?
We're all spread out. Some in North Carolina. Well, my main family in North Carolina, that's where my aunt lives, and then some in Wisconsin, Georgia, here in Texas too, Dallas, close by. Just all spread out.
All
honestly.
spread out. Wow. So have you been enjoying San Angelo so far for the past 3 to 4 years?
Yeah, pretty much. I've enjoyed the small town kind of atmosphere and the culture that it brings. I didn't really like when I went to Wisconsin or Washington, the big cities. I didn't like how much traffic there was and how many people there were, and too many things happening at the same time. So I felt overwhelmed when I went there. But over here, it was very easy to adjust and pretty much.
So you're better with like the small town vibe. You don't like the
just
big
getting
city?
in, starting, and just immediately working, getting to work.
Oh,
Instead
okay.
of trying to adjust and all that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's your major here? What do you study here?
Do civil engineering,
What engineering?
structural engineering.
Structure engineering?
Structural engineering. So civil's the main branch, and then
So can you explain that for me a little bit more?
yeah. So we do there are two branches, mechanical and civil,
Right.
here at ASU, and so I heard civil's the easiest one, which so far it's been okay. And in the civil, I'm aiming to do structural because it branches out to 9 other things. We
Wow.
deal with roads, transportation, water, dams,
Right.
sanitation. So it branches out to different things. So I want to do structural because I want to build buildings, create structures and stuff like that. And you get to name them too after yourself. So that's what I hope to do with structural engineering.
Wow. So for structural engineering, are you hoping to do your job in San Angelo, or are you planning to do some job outside of Texas? Or
Hopefully in Texas, because Texas is pretty good in terms of, because I've seen lots of construction here in Texas.
Right.
And there's lots of land too. And I think I've just gotten used to the weather and how unpredictable it can be and how hot it can get. And so I feel like if I were to move, it would be hard. Because some other places, colder than others.
Right.
Other places, no really opportunities for civil engineering. And so
So you think Texas is the right place to start your
I
job?
think Texas is the best place to start looking anyways, because I have to start looking in a year.
So you said you came here at 2021. What was your first impression in San Angelo? So you used to live in Zimbabwe for your whole life?
Yeah, so straight
And
from-
then you just straight came to San Angelo.
Yeah.
What was your first impression?
I was surprised. I was not expecting it to be this hot when I came out the airport. I remember the doors opened automatically, and
Right.
then I just got hit with a gust of wind. And I was like, wow. I didn't think it was going to be that windy, number
Right.
one, and that hot. And luckily it's not as humid than the
Right,
other
it's so
places that
dry.
we've been. So at least we can breathe. But yeah, I was not, because it's hotter than Zimbabwe itself.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was my first impression. I'm going to have a tough time with the weather here. 'cause-
So you came here in summer?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why you got all of the heat and everything.
Yeah. got
I
all
came
the-
here in the winter,
Oh, okay.
and my first impression was like, it's not really cold like in Korea because it like snows there. But when the summer came, I was like, whew, if I don't have a car, I'm gonna pretty soon die
Yeah.
here soon.
Oh
And-
yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Do
You
you-
can't walk around.
Oh, I
You
can't.
I mean, for the first 2 years, I had to walk around. Well, I lived on campus the first year,
You
obviously,
did?
and then
Uh-huh.
now I stay at Angelo Place Apartments, and so it was kind of brutal walking from there to classes last year.
Yeah. So Angelo Place is a really good place to live. I mean, the rent is pretty friendly, and do you now have a vehicle now? What's the difference?
It makes life easier.
That's true.
I do walk majority of the times anyways because I'm so used to it.
Right.
I feel like that's the only way I keep in shape because I don't go to the gym anymore.
Is there a reason why?
I don't know, I just got drained from the gym because I used to do, I was very active in high school. I went to Peterhouse Boys High School, which is, I guess, the best school in my country. So I was very privileged to go there. And it was basically a rugby academy. So they prioritized rugby, and that's because I used to be a bit more chunky than I am now. And that's where I started losing my weight, was when I went to high school and started making us run and flip tires and all that stuff, the gym. And so I used to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning before classes and go hit the gym by myself. I was very dedicated, and I did rowing. So on the water, with the boat.
That's a really tough exercise, honestly.
Yeah, it was. I started it in the second year of high school, and that pretty much took over my career. That was my main sport, and so I would do rowing, gym, and then we would row pretty much every day, Monday to Friday.
Wow.
After classes, we'd have lunch, and then 1 o'clock until shower time around 5:45.
That's a really tough schedule.
It'd be on the water, and the school was separated because it's a boarding school.
Right.
And so it was separated, so all boys and then all girls. And the girls would only bus over for classes the last 2 years of high school. And so we would go row at their dam because we both had dams, but their dam was bigger.
Wow.
So we would go over there, bus right over there. It wasn't too far, like 3 miles. And and then Saturday we would row again, and then Sundays were race days.
So you were kind of sick and tired of all the exercises.
Yeah, I think normally the trend was once you did stop rowing, you would pretty much just become lazy.
I see.
Kind of what we saw when people left the club or when they just got tired of how hard it was.
I'm kind of curious. So you had like all these sports activities back in your country, and you switched to San Angelo, and you told me that you came here because your family suggested it. But was that the only reason why you came to the States, or were you looking for something else?
I think the States was always where I wanted to go.
Really?
From a young age.
Where did that root it from?
I think it stemmed from the boom of technology. Because growing up, at most we had, the family computer. And then I think around the 2010s to 2008s, that's when it started booming. And now we're learning in class how to type and all that. So YouTube became popular. And I think that's where I started watching videos and clips, the Vines, old classics. And that's kind of where my curiosity for America came in. And since then, really no other places interested me.
Wow.
And so, and I knew my aunts and uncles were all here anyways. And so, I never really thought of going anywhere else.
So what's the favorite part about being in the United States for you? And what's like the biggest difference from your home country?
Well, the favorite part, where do I start?
And if you can speak up a little bit more, bit louder,
okay.
That'll be perfect.
Favorite part?
Food, culture, lifestyle, anything it can be. Class, education, technology, friends.
I like I guess the system works. I like the system and how people operate in terms of, the work culture, I guess you could say, compared to my country, because it's not a lot of people are able to work, even though there are jobs available. They just don't pay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't pay. There are a lot of people on the streets with degrees and stuff who can work, but it's not worth it to work.
Right.
Because you went to university for 4 years and barely getting anything, including because my dad's a doctor. And so I saw, especially after COVID, how bad things turned out and how much of his patients he lost and things like that. And so, whereas compared to here, a lot of people did get affected, but the government's able to help. So I like how the government is at least functional enough to help individuals that are in need,
Mm.
and pretty fast too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think I like the most coming here. And then food.
Food.
Yeah, and
What's
then
your
food.
favorite food?
My favorite, I would have to say, would have to be pizza.
Pizza?
Yeah, it would have to be pizza.
That's
I think
awesome.
You can't go wrong with pizza. The go-to.
Right?
I needed to stop myself at some point. Because everybody gains weight the
Mhm.
first time here. Like they say, you gain like 30 pounds or 15.
I gained 25 pounds as soon
Yeah,
as I
like-
got here.
Yeah, whatever the rule is that you gain weight. I was about to get there, but because I'd order pizza every time when I got here. Because DoorDash, we don't have DoorDash in Zimbabwe. We don't have any of those Uber Eats or those nice things that people take for granted here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was abusing it pretty much. And so I did learn, coming here, you have to have a lot more discipline
Mm-hmm.
and be more budget friendly as well. Because although things are things work, like you get paid on time,
Right.
But you definitely need to be careful when it comes to budgeting,
Right.
because
Yeah,
it can be hard sometimes.
Yeah, being an international student, budgeting and managing the money, I think it's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because there's like tuition, living expenses, Uber, if you have a car, vehicle, money, car insurance, those are expensive.
Yeah, you get all those payments on
Gas
top
money.
of you. Like, back in my country, those things are there, but not really. Like, those are kind of like choices that you can. Like, nobody's really insured and stuff like that. And so you have to kind of realize the perks come with added responsibilities
Right.
that you have to be careful about, or otherwise you might see yourself in trouble.
That's true. I think you're adjusting here very well, more than I did within my 2 years of experience here.
Yeah.
Do you have any like part-time jobs here on campus, or
I
are you
did.
just studying?
I was working at the museum
Mm-hmm.
a couple of weeks ago, but I've been basically looking for a new job now. I was planning on working off campus. I've worked a lot of jobs on campus. So I started out at the gym,
Right. Me too.
and then from there I went to engineering department. I worked there for a bit, and then the museum.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's kind of how I've gone.
Being an F1 student, like, I think for me, I think it applies for all the F1 students. F1 students needs to work on campus while they are a student here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have limited options, but we just do the best we can, right?
The jobs aren't really they're not hard, at least. Some of them are not hard. I think the museum one was a bit too difficult for me because it was a new project, new grant and everything, and we had to create a website and stuff like that, and deadlines were coming up, and I also have deadlines for homework and stuff like that, and so I know that I have to prioritize studying over working.
Do you miss your home country time to time?
Yeah, of course.
What do you
Time
miss
to
the
time.
most?
The weather.
The weather?
It was very tropical, and so we were close to the equator,
That's so nice.
and so it didn't fluctuate too high or too low. It was
Like,
always
how's
in between.
what's the temperature there? Because I have never been there, so I just want to know how it works.
Well, we use degrees instead of Fahrenheit,
I use degrees too.
so it would probably be in the range of 18 to 24
That's
degrees.
nice.
Which is very nice.
That would be like the perfect weather for like spring in Korea. So I would love that weather.
Yeah, so we don't have to put on jerseys, jackets, or any sweaters. Just go
Is it
outside.
like that all 4 seasons, or?
Yeah, pretty much, except for winter does. The only winter and summer, really.
Winter
When
and
you're-
summer.
When you're that close to the equator, yeah. Spring and autumn don't really. It doesn't really affect temperature-wise. But summer, it'll get a little hotter on the high end, on the 25. I heard it did go up to 30. So close, almost to by temperature. But they think it's because of the global warming and things like
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
But and then winter it'll go down slightly, but not too cold. Not too cold. It doesn't snow. Never snows.
It never snows.
Never snows.
Just like San Angelo. So, being as an international student for 3-4 years now, what was your biggest struggle as an international student?
I guess learning the customs
Customs, like
of the norms of the culture,
Right.
because it's a mix and blend of all, it's a hot pot of all different types, and so I guess navigating, because I have friends who are Cambodians,
Right.
and then I've got Mexicans and white friends, black friends, and so it's kind of hard navigating sometimes.
Can you give me some examples?
Like what to talk about in terms
okay.
of, because people do disagree. I did notice what I didn't like coming here is how split people are in terms of politics. Like they can become, they can make it their whole identity pretty much, which I didn't like, where people would stop being friends with you just because you like
certain,
you have different views.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one hard thing. I never talked about politics. At first I did talk about it, and we would start arguing.
Yeah, it's a really sensitive topic to get onto.
Yeah, that's when I learned, I'm not even gonna bring it up anymore until I know for sure. And so I think it's just being more, what's the word?
Take your time.
I guess more conscious about what you say.
Like the topics that you bring up. Right?
Yeah, being more, So I guess I had to learn how to be more sensitive, because out there, people outside of America, people are less sensitive. They're more, toughen up. Like things are hard, so they don't really have time to worry about these things. But whereas here, that's what they pretty much worry about 24/7. People get depressed because of it. And like I saw how bad things can get. People crying. But yeah.
So you're just trying to be more sensitive about those topics, bringing them up. I see.
And seeing their side as well, not just shutting them down over what they believe, but trying to understand why they believe it.
Trying to be on the both sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to be both sides.
I've never thought of it that perspective, but I think that's really interesting too. So you said about like cultural norms and like views about politic stuff. What are other like lifestyle struggles that you had?
I guess the classes as well was a bit different, because we do the English system,
right,
where we're from, and so just getting accustomed to how they grade and what they take into account for the grade. Like they never took account homework or quizzes or any of that, attendance. It was just always the final exam was the most important
thing here. Or
back in Africa, it was just the final exam. That's all that mattered. But over here now, it's everything.
Like every detail, every quiz,
matters. Everything matters.
Group project.
So that was hard to adjust to.
That's a really big difference. Like I didn't know in Africa they would mostly care about the final exams, but now here we like grade all the single like projects and quizzes and everything. Why do you think that happens?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
I have no idea. I mean,
I don't judge you. You're not the teacher. You're not the.
I can take a gander. I mean. I guess over there they're more concerned about
result-based?
Yeah, results-based more than effort. More results-based than effort, where it doesn't matter how much effort you put in as long as you end up with an A. It doesn't matter how you got it, whereas over here it matters how you got it. Which at the same time I don't understand. Like, the system... Because, I mean, in terms of their American education is not that great when you compare to some of the other countries. I think we're like 50th on the scale. And so, system-wise, I don't know how effective it is, honestly.
So you would prefer...
I would prefer final exam.
Final exam to be more...
Yeah, they do... I guess it takes into account people who struggle with exams.
Yeah.
Give them a chance to pass the class as well, which I understand. Yeah, it's more inclusive, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think in Asian countries, especially in Korea, I think we were more result-based back like a few years ago. But nowadays, for like younger elementary school kids or like middle school kids, I think it's becoming a little bit more progress-based, just like American education. So I think it's changing in like different ways nowadays.
Yeah.
So yeah, it used to be result-based too in Korea as well. So I see like similarities here. Are you like associated in any multicultural clubs or groups here in ASU?
No.
No.
I used to be a part of the African Association.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Where pretty much anyone from Africa we would all get together and share each other's cultures and stories. Go for events like bowling, to lake events, or any get together that we can come up with, and then as well participate in the parades and stuff like that ASU holds.
Would you suggest it to new African international students to join that association?
Oh yeah, it was very fun. It was they were very inviting, nice people, and trust me, you would absolutely enjoy spending some time with people that understand you.
Awesome.
On a deeper level as well, especially starting out. If you're a freshman or anything like that, it'll help you find connections and people who you can contact when you need something as well.
Awesome. So for like final advices for all the exchange students that's going to come to San Angelo, Texas, Angelo State University, what would be the 2 advices that you would give out to them?
Well, my first advice is you should be prepared to work hard.
Yes.
Because it's
like the main goal.
Yeah. Pretty much. You shouldn't be afraid to work hard. And even if you feel like you're struggling, don't be afraid to ask help. It's very important to always look for somebody who can help you. Because I know people of our culture, we frown upon getting help. And so don't be afraid to ask for help. And my second advice would just enjoy, have fun. It's part of the journey. It's another chapter in the story that you're writing, creating for yourself. And so don't be too hard on yourself.
That's really hard to balance. You said try hard because you came to the States, you need to work hard, but at the same time enjoy.
Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process of struggling, because you will struggle. At some point, no matter how much hard work you're putting in, you will struggle. And so it might not seem like fun at times, but that's all a part of it. Pretty much.
I think that was an amazing advice from a person who's been here since 2021.
Thank you so much.
Are there any questions for me as an international student?
Well, is it hard adjusting to graduate now?
Oh yes, for sure, because I've never been into STEM program. And I just started my STEM program learning coding, Python and everything. And I have a really big project coming up, and I just like you said, I'm trying to enjoy it even though it makes me uncomfortable. But growing from uncomfortableness will make you grow. So that's what I'm trying to aim for this semester. And thank you so much for coming out here in episode 6 of International Students and Studies. And we were with Percy
Mombeyarara, and
yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Bye.